Hello and good evening, and welcome to the Thursday edition of The Shed, hashtag Irish Bulls Mafia with me, Trevor. You're very welcome along to this special edition for tonight, as it's draft day or draft night. I know in the States they're a few hours behind yet, so they're just getting warmed up as we are here, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to try and stay up and see as much as possible tonight and see who the Bills get in day one. You're very welcome along. So for tonight's show, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just talk about another draft that I seen today. Peter Schrager's from Good Morning Football. I did the PFT football draft on Tuesday night, and I went through it. I'm just going to go through this one quickly, and then it's not going to be a very long video because a lot of it has been already spoken, but what I'm going to do then after is I'm going to give my top 12 or 13 picks, just for reasons that I'll explain as I go along, that I haven't gone any deeper, and then what the Bills could expect for in round one, and hopefully get. So I'm going to do the same with Peter Schrager's. I'm just going to go through the top 12, 13 picks, and then who he has for the divisional rivals and our division rivals like the Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots, and who he has for the Bills. So let's start. So no surprise, he's gone for Caleb Williams 1 for the Bears. No surprise, he's gone for Jaden Dalians 2 for the Commanders, 2 quarterbacks. And he's also, like the PFT draft, has kept Drake May at number 3. But the PFT draft traded him to the Vikings, where in here he's keeping him for the Patriots themselves. And as I'll discuss later, I agree with that. 4 is Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver for the Cardinals. 5 then is tackle J.C. Latham for the Chargers. That's surprising, but it could happen. 6 then the Giants are going for wide receiver Malik Neighbors. 7, the Vikings, he has them trading up to with the Titans, and they take J.J. McCarthy, quarterback. 8 is edge Dallas Turner for the Falcons. 9 is Rome Odunze, wide receiver for the Bears. 10 is Brock Bowers, tight end for the Jets. 11 then is the Titans choosing, they take tackle Joe Alt. 12 is Bo Nix, quarterback for the Broncos, and 13 is Michael Penix Jr.'s quarterback for the Raiders. As we go down then through his pick, just to have a look and see who is next for us, is the Dolphins. So the Dolphins, what he has done, the Dolphins have traded with the Lions. So in Schrager's pick, Chop Robinson is going to the Dolphins at 29. Now, a lot of the Bills fans will say, well, who is he put for us for 28 if Chop Robinson is going at 29 and we're not taking him? And it's surprising, I'll tell you now in a minute. Then he has the Patriots are getting wide receiver Xavier Legette at number 32 from the Chiefs, which is, again, another surprise. And as I already told you, the Jets are taking, according to Peter Schrager, and he does know his stuff as well, Brock Bowers, the tight end. So who has he left for ourselves? Well, at number 28, we haven't traded, according to Peter Schrager. We're staying there. We're taking Latu, defensive edge. And I just seen a piece on this guy this evening and bit of video about his journey and stuff on the NFL Network. And he is awesome. If he falls at 28, it'd be very hard for the Bills to say no to him. But, stranger things have happened. So we'll have to wait and see. But that is a guy now that if he falls at 28, there's a great chance that we could take him, or we could take Chop Robinson at 29, like the Dolphins are supposed to take, or I go through my pick now in a few minutes and tell you who I think. So that was Peter Schrager's. He had a few bits of movement. He had the Vikings swapping with the Titans. He had the Eagles swapping with the Seahawks. He had the Lions swapping with the Dolphins. And then the Patriots took the Chiefs 32 pick, but he also had the Chiefs swapping with the Rams. And funny, in his pick, he had nothing for the Rams in round one, which is very surprising considering it's their first round pick since 2016. So, um, a bit of a shocker there, but we'll see. Maybe the Bills will trade out. That could happen too. You don't know. So that's Peter Schrager's. For myself, so I am not changing from a lot of theirs or a lot of his. I think Caleb Williams will go number one to the Bears. I'm not a betting man, so I don't bet, but if I was a betting man, it'd be something that you couldn't overlook. There's a 99.9% chance. Then Jaden Daniels to the Commanders, another quarterback. I agree with that. Drake May to the Patriots, another quarterback, and I agree with that. Yes, the Vikings might trade up, but if I was the Vikings, and I've said this, and I can get JJ McCarthy, I'm taking JJ McCarthy before any of them guys, because JJ McCarthy is a winner and has done it. These other guys are very good, might become winners, but as of now, going into this draft, they're not. He is. So I wouldn't be in a rush for any of them three. That's only my personal opinion. If I was the Vikings, so I'd let them three roll as it is. Number 4 is the Cardinals. Now, I have seen this today, different people with different options of how they could get the Cardinals to trade out in number 4. So I'm putting on my neutral hat and I'm going to, this has nothing to do with the Bills or anything, that kind of type of stuff. This is just, say, looking at it from the Cardinals' point of view. If I had the number 4 pick and you have the quarterback that you believe in, whether I do or not, it's a different story, but the Cardinals believe in, but he's been missing pieces and bits and bobs for the last year or two, and they want to give him a team this year to see if he's A, good enough, and B, if he is good enough for them to progress. So he's fit, he's recovered from his injuries and everything, and he's good to go. Marvin Harrison Jr., listening to Joe Marino, who knows the draft inside out, who has been doing it for years, who is actually employed to rate players, has rated Marvin Harrison Jr. as the best player in the whole draft. And if you know that the Patriots, Commanders, and Bears above you want quarterbacks, and the only one that might move is the Patriots, and if they do, it may be the Vikings that comes up into their place, but there's very little more that will or want to give away such a precious pick unless they need to. You have the first pick at the best player in the draft on paper. Now, time will tell, as Joe Marino just say, this is only on paper. You won't know for 2 or 3 years, but going off everything, this is the guy. And I have the number 4 pick as a GM of the Cardinals. And if anyone rings me, I'm saying no. I'm keeping Marvin Harrison Jr. He's the best guy on the draft on paper. You need him. Kyler Murray needs someone to throw to. Will have to hit the ground running because he's that high up in the draft. But if he does, the Cardinals are taking a big step into becoming a team that could win something or could challenge to win something. Whereas the last few years, they've been nothing. They've been just hanging around the basement and getting high up picks. So I wouldn't change. Then you move down to the Chargers. They're at number 5. Now, he has J.C. Latham tackle for them, and maybe they need a tackle. I don't know the Chargers too well, but I know they've given away a lot of offensive weapons. Allen went this year, so they need a wide receiver. So I have Malik Neighbors going to them at number 5, and if I was the Chargers, I wouldn't budge either. Then we come to number 6, so the Giants. Now, I have seen today on NFL Network that the Giants could trade with the Patriots to get the number 3 pick to get a quarterback. But if they do, it looks like it's Drake May they're looking to go for, because Jaden Daniels will probably be gone and Caleb Williams. And I think they're more into getting a Drake May than they are getting to JJ McCarthy. Why? I don't know, but that's their business. But for the sake of this, I am not um, putting them in as a quarterback. I do think they will go for a quarterback, but it might be just that the Patriots swap and the Patriots take somebody else. If that's the case, it'll throw another can of worms in where into the pot where if the Patriots drop Drake May and they need a quarterback and the Giants go up and take it and they drop down to 6, then the Vikings have to get into 4 or 5 to get JJ McCarthy or he won't be there. Simple as that. But my draft, I'm going that the Giants are going to take Rome Odozze, wide receiver. Because if they do believe in Daniel Jones and he comes back and he's fit, then they'll need a wide receiver to throw to. Malik Neighbors is gone. Marvin Harrison Jr. is gone. This is the next guy on the list. It could be a flip between either of them to go to the Chargers or the Giants. But that's who I would be looking at for them. But don't rule out a quarterback for the Giants. Then number 7, I have the Titans swapping with the Vikings. And I have the Vikings going up to number 7, and they take JJ McCarthy, who I think should be the number 1 pick because he's there, done it, won it. But that's only for me to think. I don't really understand the ins and outs fully yet, so I'm learning. But if they get JJ McCarthy, yes, they've lost Kirk Cousins, but JJ McCarthy's a guy that can come in and be the franchise quarterback that they need after losing Kirk Cousins. Number 8, the Falcons are staying at number 8, and everyone's kind of in an agreement to a lot of drafts I've seen. Dallas Turner, edge, is going to the Falcons. Then we come to the Bears. So the Bears are at number 9. Now, I have read a few minutes ago, and I actually had this done before I read it. So it's going to sound kind of freaky, but it's true. Caleb Williams has put up a piece saying he wanted this guy from Penn State they were high school buddies, to come to the Bears if he goes to the Bears. And I found it kind of weird afterwards that this is the pick I had picked for the Bears. It's the guy he wants. So who knows? It might happen. It's offensive tackle Olu Fashanu. I'm not going to try to pronounce his full name because I'd be here for a week. No disrespect. I just wouldn't be able to do it. But Olu Fashanu, offensive tackle to the Bears at number 9. The Jets at 10, I have Talize Fuaga, offensive tackle. They need that. He's a guy that has been tipped to go to the Jets. And if Aaron Rodgers does come back, they'll need someone blocking the holes to make sure nobody gets to him. Number 11, then, I have tackle J.C. Latham going to the Titans as they have swapped the Vikings. And the Titans are a team that will be in building mode this year. That could cause a surprise, but they have a lot of pieces to replace, especially Derrick Henry going. So this draft is important to them. But I think that would be a good start getting J.C. Latham to them. Then number 12, Bo Nix to the Broncos, quarterback. I agree with that. Even though they got Zach Wilson has to remold himself, rebuild himself, start refresh. Bo Nix has had a very good year, and I would suggest that probably they'll start with Zach Wilson if they go for a Bo Nix. But if Zach Wilson doesn't prove it in training camp or in their preseason games, don't be surprised if they get a Bo Nix that he starts as their starting quarterback. But this is a very, very important time for Zach Wilson. Sean Payton, I think, is a guy that if there is anything left in Zach Wilson to come out and prove it, he will do this and get it out of him. And then the last one is the Raiders at 13. Michael Penix Jr., quarterback. Washington State. I agree with this. I think he's class. I think he should be higher up the board. I believe in guys that can win are winners. Now he got to the final, the championship final in the college football. Well, last year, this year, uh, and he brought that Washington team a long, long way. Yes, he has injury concerns, but as there isn't a player in there that can say I have a clean bill of health at some stage, there's been an injury somewhere. And he is a quarterback. He's a left-handed quarterback where teams will find it hard to read. Just look at Tua Tagovailoa at the Dolphins. It does take teams, a bit more work to read a left-hander because they're so used to everyone that's been right-handed. So he's a guy, he can throw the ball and he's athletic and he can run. And I'm going to the Raiders with Gardner Minshew and Aidan O'Connell. I think there's a good chance he could be pushing for a starting place there. Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback, but Gardner Minshew kind of is, in my eyes, is there if you need him. But if you don't need him, go with the guy you have. And I think if Penix goes to the Raiders, I think they'll start with him. So that's my first 13 picks. I'm not going to go down any further because the only reason I didn't do top 10, I went to 13 is I wanted to talk about the Broncos and the Raiders because they're quarterback looking as well, or are they? We will see. So finally, go down to the Bills at 28. Now, I've listened to the Overreaction Buffalo podcast. I've listened to Joe Marino. I have listened to Nickel City Mafia. And I've listened to NFL Ireland here at Pro Football Ireland, at NFL Ireland, and other Gaelic Gridiron. And they've all given thoughts on the draft and who should do what. But for me, I would not trade up because you're not going to get Rome Odunze, you're not going to get Malik Neighbours or Marvin Harrison Jr. as a wide receiver. And the rest of them, no matter who you get, are guys that can become something because there is a very good depth of wide receivers. You're not probably, I know Peter Schrager has Chop Robinson at 29. I see him going way higher than that. And Leteo Latu, I don't see him being down at 28 as much as I would like to see him being down at 28 and going to the Bills. So there are guys that, again, the caliber of guys underneath are guys that can be worked with, and they're still a very high caliber for them positions. And my three positions of concern to start on the draft is wide receiver, defensive edge, and safety. So, and Cooper DeJean, he's another guy that if he fell maybe 20, if going into 25, according to this, he's going to the Packers, maybe go for it at the Packers. I wouldn't go any higher than 25. 19 would be my stretch if I had to go up. But I wouldn't be trading up. If I was Brandon Bean now, I'd be going, we'll see how the board falls, but 19 is as high as I'm going to go if I have to make a trade with the Rams. But I don't want to trade up. I might trade down, but I don't want to trade up. Who would I go for? If Xavier Legette is there at wide receiver, or Adonai Mitchell, if he's there at wide receiver, I would be going for either of them two guys. If Chop Robinson is there or Leteo Latu is there, I would be going for them guys first. Or Cooper DeJean. They're my five guys that I would be looking at for the Bills. I can see two of them maybe be there, but they would be the wide receivers. The other three I don't. But if all five was there, I would be starting with Cooper DeJean. Then I would be going Leteo Latu. Then I'd be going Chop Robinson, Xavier Legette, and Adonai Mitchell. And that's my 5 picks if they were all there and how they would go. But again, them guys mightn't be there and we could have to look at someone else. But I would hope one of them are. But that's my thoughts on the draft. for tonight, I'm going to stay up as much as I can and watch it. I'm working nights this weekend coming, so uh, I have to get into the night zone mode as it is. Just one thing, I was commenting on the new uniforms that were released, the Jets, the Broncos, the Lions on Tuesday night. Then the Houston Texans released their new uniforms, and I think they've just blown everyone out of the water out of the new ones. They're awesome. For a Texan fan, it's awful hard to choose which of the four you'd get. You'd have to try and get all four somehow. So you'd have to win the lottery. But they do look amazing. Really, really nice. Their alternative one has a different helmet, has the colours different and the whole lot. So it is pretty cool. Out of all the new uniforms that have been released so far from the Jets, the Broncos, the Lions, and now the Texans, the only one I feel let down with looking at, because they all look very nice in their own way, is the Broncos home one, the orange. Not their alternative one, that's gorgeous, but their home one. The rest, their away ones, they're navy, they're white. The Lions are class. The Jets, even though I'm a Bills fan, but the Jets look the business. And now the Texans look amazing. That's the only jersey that, to me, I wouldn't, if I was a fan, wouldn't be going out in a rush to buy. But everyone to their own taste. So just to recap again, what picks we have so far tonight, unless we do any trades. The Bills are in round 1, 28. In round 2, 60. We don't have a round 3 as of yet, so it'll be interesting to see, will Brandon Bean try and get a round 3, or will he just be content with what we have? So round 4, we're 128, 133. Round 5, we're 144, 160, and 163. Round 6, we're 200 and 204. And round 7, we're 248. So we have 10 picks as of now. Now, a lot could change, and there could be lots of trades and stuff done, and we could be moving up the board, and we might move down the board. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But tonight's the night anyway. It's going to happen, so we know by Tuesday's video who we have. And the reason I don't just jump on any one player and say, "Oh my God, we got to get him," Leteo Latu or Chop Robertson or Xavier Leggett or Marvin Harrison Jr. or whoever else, JJ McCarthy, is because it's the draft and someone else can just pick someone before it. So on Monday or Tuesday, when we do the next video, I'm just going to look at who we did get and are we happy and what can we do with them and what kind of strengths and stuff is there from these players and what we can look forward to. And hopefully we'll have a good pick and a good draft and an enjoyable season to look forward to. So anyway, folks, that's it from me for tonight. Enjoy the draft if you're watching it. I will see tonight's one Saturday and Sunday. Then I'm working the night, so I'm just going to have to follow it on social media, as in see what happens in the morning. But this is the big one, is the first night, so we'll see how we go. Hopefully we get the players we want. Hopefully they're there and Brandon Bean is successful in getting who he wants for the team's sake. Until Tuesday night, I'll do this video on Tuesday evening about the draft. I hope you have a wonderful and safe weekend. And as always, my friends, go Bills.